Hey everybody, if you're new to the channel, my name is Ethan. I am the primary content creator on this channel. You might see my siblings, Kate and Christian, every once in a while, but today I wanted to give you a June channel update. So, what's been going on recently? Finished Gemcraft, the story, the main story of Gemcraft. I have not finished the game. There are still a lot of endurance levels that I still have to do. There's probably some trial modes that I will try out, but I'm not going to go through all the trial modes. I just want to get through the endurance modes, get myself to like wizard level 1000 and say like, okay, this is sufficient. I think we can end here and be satisfied. Another thing that I've been doing kind of in the background is trying out some new games. So you'll see that I posted the Minecraft Dungeons video. Didn't get a ton of reception, but that's fine. It's not what a lot of people came to the channel for. Even still, I'm floating right around 310 subscribers, 315 on a good day, and I feel pretty confident that me branching out to new games is going to get more people involved in the channel while still keeping other people happy if I'm doing more strategy-based games like Gemcraft or maybe not other tower defense games, but just strategy games in general. They're definitely still on my radar. I want to try out XCOM eventually, because it's not a game that I've played since XCOM 1. I haven't played 2, and I think there's some new, it's either an expansion or maybe it's a new game that's out. I don't know. I forget. Maybe it's just part of XCOM 2, and I'm so out of the loop. But there's that. I still want to be doing streams on Saturdays. You'll notice this past Saturday I took off. I just had a wild week because I started an internship for this summer. So I started it the beginning of June, June 1st. So I just finished my day 8 on the internship. It is at an architectural engineering firm, but I am an electrical engineer. So I'm doing the power systems and lightings for a bunch of buildings, kind of top secret, but it's really fun. I like it a lot. I like my manager. I have a couple of great people helping me out as well. And I think I might even stick with the company after graduation. So we'll have to see. I still got another year and a half, maybe. But yeah, exciting stuff there. I had people ask about the puppy. Bean is doing fine. Bean is our now 6-month-old Australian Shepherd puppy, and she is as nippy and mischievous as ever, but she is fun. And we took her on a walk today. She doesn't like car rides. Car rides are the one thing. It's kind of the bane of her existence. She's like starts foaming at the mouth, but she threw up in my car today, and that was a whole fiasco. I'm trying to balance my schedule a little bit better so I can still get out a couple videos a week. I know it's been a week since I've uploaded anything, and that might seem like a really long time, but the past week for me has kind of flown by. I have a lot of other things that I'm doing outside of YouTube, obviously, and even outside of my internship. Some of you might know that I help out at my church a lot, and so I have been the basically audio video producer for the last month and a half to 2 months, and I'm trying to make a lot of changes. So that's been a big stress point in my life, but I'm also very proud of the stuff that I'm doing there. So also glad to see that more people are using the Discord just for even just random chatting and just saying, hey, I think it'd be really cool if you did this thing, or I'm really interested in this, or just like I said, just general chatting. Excuse me. So yeah, every single video that I post, I try to put the Discord link in the description. My Twitter's also down there. I don't post on Twitter very much, but it is definitely an avenue that you can contact me through, contact other viewers of the channel. I think we have like 30 some people on there right now. It's not a lot, but the people that we have on there are very nice. They'll help you out. They help me out, especially with the Gemcraft stuff. I wouldn't have been able to do half the stuff that I did on Gemcraft without other people's contributions of knowledge and just general support. So yeah, thank you to everybody. Excuse me while I adjust my chair. Thank you to everybody who did support me with the Gemcraft, and that's still gonna keep going as soon as I find time to make some videos. Another thing that is a schedule issue of mine is that I'm taking an online class. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday until the end of June, I am busy with class from 6 to 9:05 p.m. So that's really limiting the time that I can put into videos or the time that I can put into any of my personal projects, which I have a lot of technological projects that are in the works, which I'm thinking about either starting a new channel or making some kind of post about it, just saying, here's all the cool stuff that I work on behind the scenes, whether it's personal or for school or for research. Can't really talk about my internship, but I could talk about those other things, and always feel free to talk tech with me, because I do enjoy a lot of maker projects. I am definitely a big music guy, not as much like of a modern music guy, but I'm classically trained in a couple of instruments, and I I love music. I seriously do, and it's still a love of mine to this day. Don't play much music anymore. Time constraints thing again. Um, Also, those of you who are on Discord and have been following me on Twitter, you might have noticed that I have either posted, retweeted, or liked a number of posts surrounding some of the events occurring in America today. I didn't want to bring this up in the past week. I just want to see how it played out, but it's not gotten any better, so I do want to address it. For those of you who don't know, because I know I have a lot of European viewers, there has been a massive Black Lives Matter movement, and this is on top of the whole coronavirus fiasco, which I think has really made things tense with a lot of communities. Just not just the Black community, or not just minorities, not just any one group or any couple groups. It's with everybody. It's made everybody tense. But the Black Lives movement has really surfaced these past couple of weeks, especially last week, with a full week of protests and rioting and all of that. So I wanted to cover a couple of topics, and just without getting too political, wanted to share my views on them. And in the description, I'll be linking a couple of sites you can go check out to either learn more, to educate yourself, because it's always good to be educated, or to help out in these causes, because I think they are very important. So, number one, addressing the riots, protests, looting. I do not condone looting whatsoever. I do very much condone protests. And I mean peaceful protests. Because if there is any number of violence that is involved with that on either side, whether it be law enforcement or the protesters, it's just going to escalate and lead to more violence. I would encourage actually people to go protest, but to be safe. I mean, definitely know your rights, number one. And number two, know what you stand for. It's really good, like I said, to be educated on a lot of this stuff. So one of the issues that has been brought up, and again, it's because people don't exactly know what's going on, because there's so much chaos in the protests, which leads to rioting, people have started looting stores, other buildings, and unfortunately now it's reached homes. Luckily, where I live, I'm very thankful that there has not been any of this that has erupted, near my house or in my neighborhood. But I do live, 20 minutes away from Pittsburgh, and we have seen the riots, we have seen the protests, we have seen looting and vandalism. The people who are committing these violent acts are committing them not because, they think that this is right, that they're standing up for Black lives. They're doing this because most of the time they know that they can get away with it. And they think that nothing's going to happen to them if they do this. That's just not true. There are video cameras. Like, seriously, guys, how do you think all of this is getting to the media? Covering that up, I do support the protests. I do not support the violent riots and the looting that are going on. I think that it is way too extreme, and that your voices will be heard so much more if you peacefully protest. Because for me, I consider myself to be an educated individual. I hear the voices of those who are being peaceful much louder than I hear the voices of those trashing cars for no reason or defacing statues for no reason. Second, I would like to cover my stance on police and law enforcement. This is a hard one for me because I am a white male. I grew up in a middle-class family. I have never had run-ins with the police where I have feared for my life. I've never gotten pulled over. I've never been, walking around with a beer in my hand underage. I've never smoked. I don't do drugs. I didn't go to parties. And in college, the parties that I went to were 3 or 4 of my buddies drinking beers and just hanging out. So I have never been busted for anything. I've never had a cop come up, pull either a taser or a gun on me, or, threaten me with anything. But I know that there are bad cops out in the world, and it is really unfortunate that we have to make a distinction between good cops and bad cops. I do not believe all cops are bad. There are definitely a lot of really good cops that care and that want to protect the neighborhoods that they are tasked with protecting and the people that they're protecting, because to them they take a lot of pride in that. But there are some people who think that being physical and using lethal force is the only way to get things done. It is not. It definitely is not. And I've seen so many videos recently of black people going up to, cops and saying like, "Hey, thank you for doing what you're doing. Just focus on protecting this country." And really, a lot of the law enforcement's attention has been put onto people who really don't deserve their attention, especially whenever it comes into violence. I've watched a lot of videos of people being maced, of people being beat, shoved. It's really, really sad to see a lot of that. And there are fellow law enforcement and fellow officers that are just like cool with it. And I get that, they have to follow certain codes, or there is a protocol for things, and that you have to listen to your superiors. But guys, there are several hundred people now that have either been injured, killed, and usually when I say killed, it's fatally wounded and left in the streets. Or there are instances of cops destroying medic stations or keeping ambulances from getting to where they need to be. Or, heck, even assaulting the medics that are coming to help at these protests because they don't want to see these peaceful protesters be assaulted. Summing that up, not all cops are bad, but there definitely needs to be more reforms put in place so that lethal force is not the first thing that a lot of these cops go to. De-escalation needs to be part of every single situation. George Floyd did not deserve a knee on his neck for almost 9 minutes while other people stood around begging for an officer to stop. Continuing on, there are a lot of celebrities and stuff that have spoken out and saying, hey, this Black Lives Matter movement is important now more than ever, especially with America being so torn apart by the whole coronavirus thing when we really should be unified by it. This Black Lives Matter needs to be a unification. There needs to be a rallying point that all of us can get to. And, if you don't live in America, there are plenty of other options. I know that there were some protests in, I think maybe it was either Germany or Spain. And I know they're very different countries, and politically and also culturally. But there were protests over there where people were like, hey, we want to support this whole Black Lives Matter thing too, even though it's not that much of an issue over here with the whole police brutality thing. We still want to support this. And you can still go to these links that I'm posting in the description so that you can, again, educate yourself, help out in any way you want. Kind of forget where I was going with that. Oh, I urge you to go take a look at what these celebrities are saying. And there are a bunch of media outlets that are saying that these celebrities that are speaking out and saying this Black Lives movement is important, it matters, I'm going to donate, I'm going to raise money, they are saying that they are traitors to America. That doesn't really check out, because these are the people that really want to see a difference, a positive difference, and they're doing their best to get the word out and using their platforms for good. So that's kind of what I wanted to do here tonight. It's very late whenever I'm recording this. Also, I apologize for the crappy lighting that I have going on. But yeah, I just wanted to say that, to give you guys an update, because I know we have a lot of non-American viewers, and I think it's important. And with that, I'm going to wrap up. Please leave comments in the description if you have any other resources, and please only be positive. This channel is meant, It was meant to be family friendly. And the only reason I don't have that is so that you guys can comment on these videos. These videos are not made for kids. I want you guys to be able to interact with them. There is some content on here that obviously is not 100% appropriate for kids, but we still want to foster an environment that is open, accepting, friendly, helpful, and incredibly inclusive. So please share your thoughts below. Share links to places where people can get educated on this Black Lives Matter. I am trying to stay as politically neutral as I can, so I'm not going to be talking about either our president or other members of Congress or anything like that. There's been enough said, enough shots fired back and forth. I think we really need to laser focus on what the real issue is here, and that is ending racism, because Black Lives Matter, and it's as simple as that. So I am going to sign off. Thank you all for joining, and I'll see you guys hopefully next month with another update, and I'll try to keep posting videos, a couple a week. See you then.